Go.
In this lesson, you will learn how to solve an equation in which you have to use the distributive property. In all of these problems on this worksheet, the variables will be on one side of the equation. Remember that when you use the distributive property, you are going to take the number that is in front and distribute it to each term inside the parentheses. So we will start with problem number 1. The first thing that you need to do in problems like these is to distribute the 2, or whatever number is in front of the parentheses. So you would say to yourself, 2 times a is 2a, and then 2 times 3 is 6. And because there's a plus sign in between these two terms, there would be a plus sign in between those two terms. And that equals negative 12. Once again, after doing that step, we have gotten now an equation that requires 2 steps to solve. So we're back to our 2-step equations. The opposite of adding 6 would be to subtract 6. So we put a minus 6 on each side. The plus 6 and the minus 6 eliminate each other, so we're left with 2a. And on this side, negative 12 and minus 6, or you can think of it as negative 12 plus negative 6 if you want, becomes a negative 18. Our next step then would be to divide both sides by 2. So we put our division bar with the 2 underneath on each side. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so that becomes 1a. And then negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9. The next one that we'll do will have a negative number. So we are going to do problem number 8. Now when multiplying by a negative number, you have to watch your signs. Again, distributive property, we are going to multiply this negative 2 by each term inside the parentheses. We're going to distribute that negative 2. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And then we have our subtraction sign in between, and that equals 30. Now when you recognize this minus a negative, remember to change that to plus a positive. Our equation is now negative 2x plus 6 equals 30. So our first step would be to subtract 6 from each side. The plus 6 and the minus 6 eliminate each other, and so we're left with negative 2x. And then the 30 minus 6 is 24. Our next step then would be to eliminate the negative 2 by dividing by negative 2. And so we would divide both sides by a negative 2. And a negative divided by a negative makes a positive. And when you're solving your equations, you always want to end up with a positive 1x equal to some number. And the number here would be a negative 12. So if this is a negative number in front of the variable, then you must divide by a negative so that the 2 negatives make a positive variable in your answer.